I cannot believe I am saying this, but Bonnie Blue didn't even get a £10 fine for her Bali arrest. We need to talk about the latest Bonnie Blue update in Bali, because what happens next says a lot about her brand, her persona, and honestly just how life is seemingly treating instances like this now.
Outfit check. You're meant to wear this lying down. Big up freedom. First bit of freedom we've had in a week. Even at the airport, I was being followed around by immigration. Free to do what I want. I'm trying to work out to get on my next flight first. The class was bad, but because I was so tired and just escaped from prison, it wasn't as bad as I thought. So if you ever have to deal with economy, go and break a traffic violation, and then you'll be appreciative of the flight.
This is about accountability, influence, and the extremely dangerous messages that keep getting sent when these creators are just pushing and pushing boundaries and then appear to walk away from it with relatively no real world problems. Because I think what's happened with the Bonnie Blue arrest has been deeply unsettling, not just for what it means for Bonnie Blue herself, but for what it signals to every other creator watching this unfold.
I really wanted to wear my schoolies t-shirt. The family have strongly said don't. Still gonna take it, see what my lawyer says. I don't really know what to expect today. I just know we're gonna meet a judge and it's a court. Police will be there, immigration will be there.
I'm actually not nervous, are you?
No. Do I look nervous?
You don't feel nervous because...
Get ready with me on my way to court.
That's literally me 20 minutes
really?
ago. Yeah.
So if you're here for a bit of nuance and context and a deeper conversation about internet culture, then you are in the right place. And yes, for legal reasons, I will have to use allegedly. That is important to just know. However, legality doesn't erase patterns and impact or just the cultural influence that the situation is having. So let's get into it. Before we jump in, please make sure to like this video and subscribe down below. So since my last video, the situation has unfolded quite a bit more. So Bonnie Blue, whose real name is Tia Billinger, was ultimately not charged with producing adult content while in Bali. The authorities stated that they didn't have enough sufficient evidence to make those charges. Instead, the case was reduced to just some minor charges. I believe one was to do with breaking her tourist visa and roughly due to traffic violations with the Bang Bus vehicle. So the outcome, she was fined a very small amount. It didn't even amount to £10. It was probably about the price of a McDonald's meal. And then she was deported from Indonesia. She is also reportedly banned from re-entering Indonesia for the next 10 years.
Yes.
The Bang Bus in Bali, do you regret it?
Definitely not, no.
You're banned for 10 years now from Bali. How do you feel about that?
That's a lie, I'm not. It's not 10 years.
What is it?
It's only 6 months. It is 6 months I'm banned for. This is my letter.
Were you worried?
There's a few hours I was concerned, but aside from that, I know how to click a delete button, so I wasn't worried.
What were you doing when you were arrested?
I was filming a YouTube video.
And those 14 Aussies who were arrested, what were they doing with you?
Having fun, just like most people.
Of course, those are consequences for her actions. However, I think context matters here. When you look at the severity of the allegations that was presented in front of her, the raid, the seizing of equipment, the number of people involved, and also the strict nature of Indonesian law, and then you compare it to the actual outcome that's happened, it's hard to feel like something just isn't adding up here. More importantly, I think it's another message looks like it's being sent again. Legally speaking, insufficient evidence is a valid conclusion. I can't dispute that. I'm definitely not educated enough to dispute legal terms. But when we look at socially and culturally, that explanation seems so deeply unsatisfying for a lot of people. And I'm sure you get why. Bonnie Blue has an extensive online footprint, years of self-documented content with repeated exposure and documentation of how her tours operate, including a brand identity that is heavily built upon sexual stunts.
Hey parents, yes, I stripped your son of his innocence, but let's just say he rearranged my insides and he's gonna know exactly how to treat that next girl, so he won't be faking the orgasms like you do.
She also has a history of provoking controversy wherever she goes.
Fine, but he is going to go elsewhere then.
So you're basically saying send him to me, but that's more of like a contained situation rather than, oh, he's hooking up with the secretary or having like this emotional affair.
Say if I was in a relationship and my partner cheated and it was more of someone at work, they've been messaging or they've been looking at each other, they find each other hot, and it's more of an emotional cheat. Someone like me sleeps with thousands of people. Like, your husband's in a way sometimes just another number. Like, there's no emotional connection. We're not sort of messaging beforehand. Like, send him to me, I can drain his ball, send him back to you, and then he can get back on with family life, and it's not that serious.
So the authorities saying they don't have enough evidence, a lot of people are actually hearing, not that nothing has happened,
just no, we can't prove it in a court of law.
and those are two very different things. When someone has spent years building up their presence online and telling the internet exactly how they operate, when their entire brand is built on shock, provocation and crossing lines, it's really understandable to see that people are struggling to understand why are the outcomes so minimal. This isn't just about wanting someone to be punished for the sake of being punished. I think it's about proportionality, and also just people want to see a stop of these actions. I think this is where my concern really starts, because whether or not the outcome means this, the outcome sort of reinforces a sense of immunity that I think Bonnie Blue has been feeling.
You could actually hear some of the things I've said to them during these interrogations, because I have not been fazed in the slightest.
20 guys, 1 girl, so you best believe that video is going to get uploaded as soon as I'm back.
So just need to suck a few small Indonesian and I'll be straight out.
A sense that if you're loud enough or controversial enough or profitable enough and you're culturally visible enough, that the system will eventually bend and soften and move around you. And that isn't just a problem with Bonnie Blue, that is an influencer economy problem. You have young creators watching this unfold, aspiring creators watching this unfold, people who are already trying to push boundaries and are testing how much further they can push them. And what they're seeing is, yes, there might be a bit of drama, and yes, there's some headlines, yes, there might even be an arrest, but in the end you'll probably be fine. And that is so dangerous. I do want to slow down a bit and just talk about influence in general, because Bonnie Blue isn't just a private individual making individual choices. She is a public figure with a massive audience, many of whom are impressionable young people who are still trying to form their own moral framework. And I personally think the message that she is portraying is a deeply worrying and concerning one. She has publicly encouraged cheating on your partner, framing it in a way that if your partner isn't making you sexually happy or isn't serving their spouse correctly, then that it's acceptable to cheat. She's encouraging extremely sexual behaviours as empowerment without actually acknowledging the risks surrounding it. She's also encouraging young men, sometimes, as she words it, barely legals, to engage in sexual situations for content, and that the idea of pushing further and pushing boundaries and escalating shock value is admirable. And I don't think those things are necessarily the best thing to be put in as a role model. When you have someone on the platform showing their risky behaviours as either funny, empowering, harmless, or just consequence-free, it does shape how young people think, especially when these young people don't yet have the real life experiences to see the long-term damages of what some of this behaviour can cause. And I think that is really one of the biggest overlooked dangers of Bonnie Blue and this situation. Bonnie Blue, sadly, doesn't operate alone. Her content is inspiring imitation. We have seen other creators trying to replicate these stunts with extreme volume challenges, unsafe filming environments, and really pushing physical limits for content. And some of these creators have suffered real life documented consequences for their health. We've seen injuries, infections, psychological stress, burnout, trauma, but those stories don't go viral in the same way. What goes viral is the spectacle and not the aftermath. We saw that with the Lily Phillips when she did the first challenge. She did a documentary where she was crying afterwards, and now she's denied that there was any wrongdoings and it didn't cause any trauma, when looking from an outsider it looked like that was a deeply traumatic experience. So when Bonnie seemingly appears to be escaping real life consequences again, it doesn't just embolden her, it emboldens everyone watching it, who thinks, well, if she can do it, why can't I do it? Sadly, I think we are living in an era where everything is content. Legal trouble becomes content, arrests become content, deportation becomes content, and when consequences become part of the brand, they stop functioning as deterrents as they should be. And that's what really worries me most, because the algorithm doesn't punish recklessness. It actually rewards it. We see something shocking online and loads of people will engage with it. They'll comment on it, they'll like it, even if it's through outrage. But by the algorithm's way, this is pushing the video more and more and more. And these creators at the centre of it who are earning from it, the controversy is help line in their pocket. So when the real world systems fail to meaningfully intervene in these situations, creators are internalising one lesson. I can always push it further, and I think there will be one day where they just can't. I think even if you don't really care about Bonnie Blue and you think, you know, she's an adult, she can do what she wants, I think this does still matter, because it really speaks about how fame intersects with accountability, how young people learn that behaviour is rewarded, how borders, laws and cultures can be used as props, and how morality can really get flattened when it comes to a social online space. When someone is repeatedly pushing boundaries and narratives that are dangerous and it's getting rewarded with attention and money and very minimal consequences, it is reshaping our culture and just not in a good way. So I don't think this is about wanting Bonnie Blue to be locked up. It's not about moral superiority. It's about recognising that influence comes with a responsibility. And when that responsibility is completely ignored, the system shouldn't shrug. Because I think every time someone walks away unscathed with no real problems, the line continues to move again. And I think eventually someone will get really hurt. So I think I will leave you with a question for the end of this video. At what point do we stop calling this content and start calling it what it really is? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I am so shocked at this. I think quite a few people online were really hoping for some bigger consequences for Bonnie Blue, just because I think she is setting a really dangerous bar for a lot of people, especially seeing how strict some of these laws can be. I don't understand how there was no evidence. Maybe the raid was too early. Sadly, we won't know, and we don't know if there maybe was money involved or whether it was just a fact of there wasn't enough evidence. But sadly, I think Bonnie Blue will now use this as a bargaining chip that she can get away with anything. I'm pretty sure there's been many videos of her bragging. I think I saw a video of her eating pizza before being deported, like it was something to brag about. And I think that is a big summary of what's just happened. She has got away with it and she will now be cocky with it because she is untouchable. So please like this video if you did enjoy, and let me know your thoughts down below, and of course subscribe to see more from me. I'm posting every week and I would love to see you join along on the journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.